We're back here. Sportsgamer GG ECL Pro Spring Season. The sleeves are short, but the hockey is not. We've had great games here tonight. We started off here with Hawaii Hockey against Brunus, where they split their games, and we had a little bit of a Birdsey show, but it's time to purify these waters with Purification going against RCTIC in a strong head-to-head battle here, Brando.
Yeah, we already saw the heat in Birdsey, so it's time for a little bit of cold in RCTIC, and this is going to be such a fun matchup. Two teams with very different stories. Purification, in my opinion, one of the best stories so far in the Pro Division. RCTIC, a team that has been scratching and clawing to break their way into Elite. Can they finally do it this season? A newcomer versus a staple in this division. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
So I'm not sure if we do have any latest results we can run through for the games that have already happened, Brando, but let's pop over and take a look at what stands out to you in these games here.
You know, we talked about Bros struggling a little bit out of the gate. How about a big 2-1 overtime win against Bastu in their second season in the Pro Division, looking to break into the playoffs? Maybe that can get Bro going in the right direction. Deadly Phantoms with a 2-0 win as well versus Prestige. So two of the teams that were struggling a little bit to start the season, starting to find their way here a little bit here today. We'll see if they can keep that one going, and if maybe another experienced team will be the team here that is a little bit newer as we see this matchup upcoming.
All right, well, let's pop over and take a look at the standings, as well as we might have a little bit of ups and downs on this side, as there's RCTIC over at 14th and Purification, Brando, sitting at first.
You know, and I talked about it, one of the stories of the Pro Division, in my opinion. And it's interesting with Purification because last season, they were in the ECL Light Division. They lost in the quarterfinals, got swept by Gunners HC. And, you know, it's interesting with them because they weren't necessarily a dominant team in the Light Division. They finished as the 15th seed. They were 15-8-3. They were a team that were pretty okay in the Light Division. They made the move to the Pro Division this year via the qualifiers, but you know something? They have shown up and proven a lot of people wrong here to start out. RCTIC's going to be a fun test since they are experienced and they've been here for so long. But Purification, this right here in prime time against an experienced team, is a chance for them to make a statement and cement themselves in this division as a true contender.
Yeah, what a game to play against other than the Purification to show your staple here in Group 1. Let's pop over and take a look at Group 2 now, as we might have had some adjustments after those games we saw. There's Hawaii Hockey sitting there in 10th, games not updated yet, so still sitting the way they are.
Yeah, they'll get 2 more points, so Golden Knights and Polsky Boys will stay where they are. And, you know, you have to feel good, though, if you are Brunus or Hawaii Hockey, because you were able to get 2 points out of this thing, especially if you are Hawaii Hockey, because you kind of were able to level the score a little bit with Polsky Boys and Venom with those games played. So, you know, we split that first series. Both Brunus and Hawaii Hockey can go home relatively happy at the end of the night, knowing that they at least bagged a few points for the standings in Group number 2.
At least a few, as we pop over into our team matchup here, Brando. And something that stands out to me is the power play and the penalty kill here for RCTIC. And I'm sure you can tell me a little bit about it, but how about that penalty kill for Purification at 100% as well?
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That RCTIC power play, you know something, Lime? We've commentated over this RCTIC team over the years, and that power play is just as lethal as the number looks. You have those forwards, that dynamic duo of Limbe and Yoryu. They are able to make so many plays happen on that offensive end, especially when they have the man advantage. But Purification, they've been stout on that penalty kill this season, and the defense has really been where they have kind of been able to make their money so far this season, especially considering that they have been one of the better teams in terms of not allowing those mistakes on penalties to turn into goals on the other end. So that special teams battle, we said it in game 1, it could be an aspect. This game, it could really be a factor here for these two squads.
And let's take a look who's going to be playing for your respective teams on the left-hand side. RCTIC, Yoryu, Limbe, and Fanny up front, with Ate and Layout on the back end, with Hockey Boy in between the pipes, and Purification as Bystrom at the dot, with Lexan and Ebastion on his wings, with Basemon and Vickman behind him, and even further back in between the pipes, Nisei. And I'm excited to get into the head-to-head matchups, as this center one's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think that if you said that you had just 4 points in 4 games, I'd be surprised, he'd be surprised, and everyone else would be surprised at that. But he is a guy that you just kind of know he's going to end up heating up here at some point. And for Bystrom, a guy that came over from Bjorklov Esport last season, goes over to this Purification team, and he has been stellar in the middle here for Purification so far. But the one thing to look out for, that face-off percentage, a large discrepancy between the two. You at 53.1%, Bystrom at just 44.7%. So something to keep an eye on here in these 2 games. The face-off, the battle at the dot between Yuryu and Bystrom.
Yeah, and then we pop over to who's going to be on their wings, respectively. We talked about Limbe earlier, as he's been absolutely fantastic, continues to be in the goal column, and same with Laxon on the other side.
Yeah, and Laxon, he's one of the guys that returns from the team last season on Purification. He led this team in points with 51, had 27 goals and 24 assists. His production has carried over to the Pro Division. While you look at the other side, the left wing for RCTIC in Limbe, this is a guy that has been absolutely amazing. Basically, every season he has played here in the Pro Division, was one of the leaders in points last year with 66, finished in the top 15 in the Pro Division in points. He is a guy that Purification on the defensive end is going to have to keep a very close eye on, because if you don't, he will make you pay.
Yeah, they kind of joined forces from different teams to form a super team here by the looks of it with Purification. They've been fantastic. In the defensive matchup, this is going to be a good one, as well as all over the board. You have fantastic matchups in this hockey game coming up.
Yeah, fantastic matchups, really. And I think that the defense is where things will really be decided. You see Ate coming in at that lefty spot with Layout. And Layout, he is the captain of this team. He has been so stellar on that end. He's going to be the guy that'll be defending Laxon on that left wing spot. But if you look at the right side, look out for Vickman and Bosselman. They have both been amazing so far, especially for Vickman. 24 hits in his 8 games played. He loves to lay the body around. Very interested to see if maybe he can make things a little bit uncomfortable for Limbe at that left wing spot. So the 2 right defensemen for these teams going to be the ones to really keep an eye on here.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to watch Ete coming out with his first game played as well, Brandon. I'll be keeping my eye on him as we check out who's going to be between the pipes on the back end. I love this matchup, as Hockey Boy getting his first start here, coming out for RCTIC and Nisse on Purification.
Yeah, RCTIC switching things up in the lineup a little bit. This is a team that returned all 6 starters from the playoffs last year, but that's what you like in the regular season line, is that these teams, they will rotate the lineups a little bit. RCTIC doing so here. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how Hockey Boy looks against a very solid Purification squad. While for Nisse, he has been really good this season. He actually came over from Hawaii Hockey last season, and he was phenomenal with them. That was a team that did make the playoffs, made the 7th most saves of any goalie in the Pro Division last year with 307. This was a very underrated pickup for Purification. He has proven to be amazing so far in the 8 games he's played in.
Yeah, exactly right. As both teams this match, I'm excited to get into this one, Brandon. Any predictions coming through?
I think we split again. I think that RCTIC and Purification match up very well with one another. I think the biggest thing for Purification is, can you lock down on the defensive end against this RCTIC team? And for RCTIC, can you get things going a little bit offensively? They've struggled a little bit on the offensive end, just 10 goals in their first 4 games. They have got to find a way to get the dynamic duo of Limbe and Yuryu going.
And we take a look at what's coming up. We've got a packed schedule. ECL Spring Elite on Wednesday, SCL quarterfinals on Thursday, and then a little bit of e-hockey, Brandon, on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, it is a full slate. We got some people in the back that are going to be plenty busy over the next 4 days. But you know what?
Sorry.
And next week as well. But you know what? We have got some great hockey here at Sportsgamer. We always do, and we have more right now. Line, here we go.
Here we go. RCTIC against Purification, where RCTIC is looking to make a staple name here. And there we see our lineups in the bottom left and right hand corner of your screen is Purification in the gorgeous reds, RCTIC in the whites. It's going to be RCTIC off to the races first. Yuryu, Limbe, the post early, as we know that connection between Yuryu and Limbe, and Purification's going to have to watch that, Brandon. As here they go.
We said it, the defense.
Limbe, shot on, and Brandon take it away.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we said it is the defensive Purification is going to have to step up big if they want to beat this Arctic team. They have so many plays to be dynamic and really open up that space. That was a great example of it. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call here for Purification just 4 minutes in.
This one wrapped down low, going to be pushed up the right-hand side. Lexon couldn't complete that pass through, but he takes the puck right back. Great defensive play by him, and he throws it back to Vikman. Vikman into the middle to Bystrom. Bystrom looking for the cut. Good pass as he gets it to Bastion, who looks down low, but that one's stolen away by Arctic. And here they go. Ate up the left-hand side. Limbe over to Fanny. The shot goes off a body and trickles through to Nisse with a great save.
Boy, in Arctic, they wasted no time to get things going here early. They are really speeding this game up and kind of making Purification a little bit uncomfortable. You get the feeling we're going to have to see how they adjust to it, but Arctic, the start they could have dreamed of.
Puck into the left-hand corner. Axel into the middle, and this puck's walked out with Bystrom. Bystrom. Oh, big hit there on Lexon, and they're going to want to put the body on him, Brandon, as he is great in both ends of the rink. There's another body off as Fanny hitting the ice, and Lexon just standing over top of him there, Brandon, kind of making a statement.
Yeah, that was the equivalent of dunking on someone and then stepping over him right there as you get another look at the big hit. And, you know, we talked about the speed of Arctic, how fast they were playing. Fanny, he is injured now on that right wing, so that could be something to keep an eye on. Arctic may have to slow it down just a little bit, or it might just be a little bit shorthanded. Maybe look for layout to maybe pinch up a little bit. We'll have to look out for down the right side.
This puck's brought out here by Purification. Through the middle, puck's taken away by Fanny. And it's moved through the middle. Bystrom. Bystrom carrying it back through for Purification over to Bastion. He stops up, looks for a lane. What a play to open it up, but he can't find a teammate to get it through. Here's Bastion with it again behind the goal line, bumped off. Arctic doing a good job in the defensive zone. Big hit on the right-hand side, but it pops loose up to Bassemon. Bassemon down to Lexon, in behind the goal line. Look, quick pass, as we're used to seeing that in NA. A cute little tricky pass, short side, but it's going to be Arctic coming in with it, throwing it across, and holy, Nisse had to make a great glove save.
And you know, Lime, I love that you said NA, because this game right now has a little bit of an NA style to it a little bit with the pace that we're seeing. Very back and forth, a lot of flashiness, a lot of fast speed coming from both ends. Not the typical EU style hockey we're used to, where things are a little bit more slowed down and methodical.
Puck brought through the middle. Purification goes to window front as that puck's taken away by Arctic. Ate didn't like what he saw. He resets that one over to his partner layout, and he finds its way back to Ate. He comes up with speed, takes a hit to make a play to get it in deep, but it's picked up by Bassemon, and he works it out for Purification. Saucer passed over to Bastion. He stops up to open up some space that me and Brandon were talking about, and it sure does, but a huge block by layout to help out his goaltender, Hockey Boy, not needing to make a save. There's Laxon for Purification. Nice move to get around the defender, looking for the pass, but Yuryu's back. Great 200-foot center he is for Arctic. Bastion out front is, his second shot there by Lexon is robbed by Hockey Boy as he gets in front of that one quickly. Here's Fanny. Fanny over to Yuryu. That one's passed across. Here's Bastion. Over to Bassemon. Another shot on, and that one's robbed again by Hockey Boy. Brandon, he's been great.
Yeah, nothing short of amazing so far as Hockey Boy been in his debut. We really have to be impressed with the goaltending so far on both sides, really.
That one's going to be poke checked off. Pops over to the right-hand side. Here's Limbe. Puck up ahead as Fanny carries it in. That one's shot on. Second shot on is robbed, and Nisse makes another big save.
Yeah, we just talked about goaltending for both sides, and how about that? Once again, a big save by the goaltending. This time it was from Nisse, so the goalies stealing the show so far here in the first period.
Here's Bassemon, as he's hit hard there behind in the dying moments, but regardless, this has been a great period for Arctic as Purification not really to get anything going in the offensive zone, Brandon.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder if maybe some of that's just the adjustment period from the style of play that RCTIC has. But if you're RCTIC, I think you have to be thrilled with the start that you just had. A team that has struggled to get going a little bit offensively at the start of the season. Well, how about this? 4 shots on net in just 51 seconds of time on attack. So sure, they may not have the most relenting attack in terms of time, but they have had relenting attack in terms of opportunities. And I think that if you would ask a team which they would prefer between time with the puck and scoring chances, they would prefer the latter. And that is exactly what RCTIC is doing here to start this game.
You know, RCTIC's been fantastic, and I think you just got to weather the storm right now, right, Brandon? As we know, Purification's at the top. Very successful. You just need to weather the storm before they can get some goals into the back of the net. Play your good defensive hockey. As we start period 2, Purification against RCTIC. You see your respective lineups in the bottom left and right hand corner of your screen with RCTIC in light, Purification in the reds. And here's Yuryu over to Fanny. Fanny rips one on. It goes off of Yuryu in front, but a great job by Yuryu to get in that lane, put on the screen, and try and get those pucks on Nisei. Here's Baseman. Here's Vikman. Just reset here in the defensive zone, and up to Laxon, poke checked off, and Purification, they're not really able to get in, are they?
Yeah, they're really struggling. RCTIC is doing a great job locking in.
Backhand robbed by Nisei. I can't believe it. That came out of nowhere. He makes another huge save. Nisei robbing Limbe. Another shot on. He kicks aside. Fanny trying to rip one. And oh, what an event, Brandon. I apologize to cut you off as we just got so much action out of nowhere. And now comes Lexon the other way. Lexon backhand, a second rip by Bastion is robbed. And what an event to hockey, Brando. I apologize.
Oh, you are all good, my friend. How about Nisei on that other side? Purification may be new to the Pro Division, but Nisei is not. We mentioned it earlier during the pregame. One of the best goalies last season in the Pro Division with Hawaii Hockey. He is showing why right there with that amazing sequence between the pipes.
Here's Vikman. Vikman for Purification sends that over to Baseman. Touching it up to Laxon. Baseman comes in and throws that one through with a poke check, but it's going to be RCTIC coming out with it. Layout down low. Yuryu in the wraparound. He's robbed by Nisei.
You know, Lime, we've had 3 games so far today. We've seen 3 completely different styles. Game 1 between Hawaii Hockey and Brunis, it was defensive. Game 2, it was an offensive onslaught. Game 3, we are having a goalie duel between Hockey Boy and Nisei.
There's another save by Nisei. He decides not to throw it out, and probably a good idea to slow things down.
Yeah, when you're playing a team like RCTIC and you are playing in meaningful games, you don't care what month it is. You're not throwing that out. You are keeping it and trusting your center to win the faceoff in his own zone.
Baseman throws that one up the right-hand side to Lex, and he's shut down by Layout. And Layout and Ate have been very good considering Ate's first game here. And that one's turned over. Puck out front. What a save! Lexon robbed point blank by Hockey Boy. It's his first game too, but not looking like it tonight.
I mean, this game could easily be tied at 2 apiece, but yet we are still at 0 because of the goaltending. Another big save, this time from Hockey Boy.
Puck is going to be brought out here. Baseman. Baseman goes over to his partner, Vikman. Vikman, that one goes off a body. It's turned around, and Vikman walks through, but a good job by Yuryu covering there for Ate. And Yuryu gets it over to Limbe. Good touch to Ate. Ate over the line, looks into the middle with passing, and I don't even think Yuryu knew he had the puck, Brandon, as that was such a gorgeous passing play. Fanny curls around, looks over to the left-hand side. He's robbed. Yuryu stoned by Nisei. Limbe trying to keep the action going. Yuryu comes in and says, I'll do it myself. Gets it back to Layout. Layout drops that one down low to Limbe. Back to the point. That they shot on. Goes off a body and wide. Yuryu throws it out. Nisei! What a save!
This is just so fun to watch. I mean, this is unreal what we are seeing. This save with another big save. And going back to that play you mentioned, Len, I don't think you expected that pass whatsoever. Had the backhand if he had it in time.
Here's Bystrom. That one's poke checked off as Nisse playing lights out right now. Here's Purification coming in. They need some help. That one's moved ahead. Here's Fanny. Fanny still walks into the middle. Limbe with a shot on, and that one's robbed. Here's Ate now. That one's poke checked off. Still with it. Another poke check. Bastion rips that one on, and Hockey Boy, man, he's been lights out. Is Yuryu trying to get a forced forward pass? As both goaltenders in this hockey game, Brandon, have just been insane. There's Bastion. Move down low. The puck back out front by Purification, but they can't get it through. Here's Lexon. He tried to get that one through to Bystrom, but it is going to be Fanny who steals it and gets it over to Limbe. Limbe, drop to Ade. Into the middle is what a pass to Fanny, but Puck's moved ahead now. Stolen back, though, by RCTIC. Have they ever been good in their defensive zone? Bastion takes it to the corner, looks for the pass out, but you're seeing Fanny come down. That's his third time intercepting a pass in the defensive zone, Brandon, and he's been very good, and I think that's why they've been so successful. Is it not even their wingers, or sorry, their center and their D-men that are coming back, their wingers are coming back and being very successful helping out in the defensive zone.
Yeah, and if you want to be a team that has to be at that upper echelon, at that top level, whether you're in the elite, the pro, the light, the core, the DO division, you have to have all 5 skaters chipping in defensively, doing their part, taking lanes away, creating turnovers to make things happen on the offensive end. Because at the end of the day, you ask any team and they will agree with you. Great offense comes from great defense. We saw it from Hawaii Hockey in game number 2, and even though we haven't seen that offense really show itself yet on the scoreboard, we have seen some great defense, and you know that one of these two teams are going to score eventually, but you have to keep playing great defense to give yourself that opportunity, and you just have to pray and pray that one of these two goalies are going to break at some point, because right now the men behind the masks are stealing the show. They've done so for 40 minutes. We'll see if they can do it for another 20 line.
Period 3, it may be 0-0, but this is very exciting. You see your respective lineups in the bottom left and right hand corner of your screens. RCTIC in white, Purification in red. Bastion back to the point, and that one just ripped wide there, Brando. And Vickman's going to start from his own end, goes to his partner, Baseman. Up to Lexon. Lexon, he has that puck stolen away from him by Yordi, who's been very, very good in this hockey game, but RCTIC comes over the line and they're offside.
Yeah, and you know, I'm so glad you mentioned the defense, because the goalies have been outstanding, but the positioning defensively has been just as great. And you know, it's one thing to give credit to big saves. It's another thing when really these high-end opportunities are also being denied and both teams are really having to earn them. That has been the case so far in this game.
Fanny into the middle, whipped on. What a save that is by Nisse. He's been lights out for Purification, Brandon. You know, he's been making every save possible, and even the ones he shouldn't be making, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just one of many saves. I mean, this game could easily be, like I said, two or three for either of these two teams, and both goalies are just showing up and making those big saves, standing on their head.
Hockey Boy's first of the season as well, Brandon. You got to tip your cap to him showing up in his first game like this. As Bystrom's going to try and make it a little bit harder from him, but he's poke checked off by a good play by Limbe. Limbe, he comes down all alone. He's being chased. It's still loose out front, but Baseman with a great defensive prowess to get back with the poke check, Brandon. What a play.
And I have to be honest, I was thinking like, okay, this has to be where the game breaks open, right? There's no way Purification's gonna get out of this one, but Baseman uses all the stamina he can muster to get back and makes a poke on that play, making this A's job a little bit easier on that play. That's exactly what a goalie needs from his defense, and he got it on that play.
Vickman throws that one ahead. It's intercepted, though, by Fanny for RCTIC, and this one's gonna be reset by Ate. Ate takes it over the line easily, looking for a pass up ahead, and that's a great play by the left side of the ice. As Ate makes that pass, he waits for Limbe to be covered, and the poke check comes, and that's a great draw.
Yeah, and we talked about this during the pregame line, that electric Arctic power play versus that stout penalty kill of Purification. This is the first time we're going to see it, and how big of a spot can we see it in right now? A game that is tied at 0, the goalies have stole the show, and now the special teams that have been so good facing off against each other in a big spot.
Yeah, Limbe walks through, backhand just goes wide. As we know, Arctic's power play is tied for first in the pro division, and the penalty kill first in the pro divisions for Purification. So a little 1v1 here, if you will, Brando. Not the one we're used to, but as that puck's picked up by Yuryu, he comes over the line, picked up by Ate. It pops loose. Who's going to get there? It is Layout. Layout down to Fanny, who gets it back. Layout goes over to Ate. Ate to Layout. It's good PK here by Purification. They're clogging the middle, but it gets to Yuryu anyways. Pops back out to Layout. Ate taking his time. Ripped on. Puck loose. Layout comes in to get the rebound. Layout, what a snipe! Picking that short side corner. Unbelievable.
How about that for Arctic? What a beautiful shot. It does not get much prettier than that right there. And it all came off of a really strong cycle from Arctic. All 5 skaters touching the puck, getting a feel, and they just opened it up for that one chance. A beautiful snipe right there by the right defenseman in Layout. And that's exactly what Arctic needed. That's going to be one I feel like Nisei might want back, but I think he was in pretty strong position there. It looked like he was set. He had his short side covered, just beat the goalie there on that glove in. Maybe didn't get the animation he wanted, but how about this? A defenseman in Layout is the one that breaks this thing open. This game has been as unpredictable as could be.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from Nisei, Brandon. That is just, he doesn't come off his crease at all. I think it's just the fact that he's in the butterfly there, and Layout's able to get it over his shoulder, and that's just pinpoint placement by a Layout to get it ahead. And, well, the dam's open, Brando, and we've got a goal from the Arctic. Usually it's ice, but the water's flowing through with 10 to go. Here's Ate. Moves that ahead to Limbe. To Yuryu. Over on the right-hand side to Fenny. Fenny out front. Oh, Nisei had to be sharp and grab that one. That one almost trickled over the line.
And you know, the reason that goal was so big is that I think you kind of feel like the pressure shifts to Purification. The pressure shifts away from Arctic. The way your goalie is played, the way your defense has stepped up. Now, if you're Purification, you feel an urgency to get the next goal because there's no guarantee that it comes at all.
Limbe going back and forth down low, trying to move that one back to the point. Great poke check there by Ate. You got it. Here's Limbe. Oh, what a save! Nisei flashing the glove in from point-blank range, robbing Limbe, and that gives a chance for Purification on the wraparound. Puck still loose. Yuryu has it in front. Ate's got it, but it pops loose into the left-hand side. Bystrom shot on, goes off of a skate, and we're getting exciting now. 6 minutes to go, period 3, and it's a 4-on-2. Ate leading the charge, and he scores. The left defenseman getting active in his first game of the season, making it a 2-0 game.
Who had 2 goals, and both of them by the defenseman on their bingo card. And how about this, Lime? Layout his first goal of the season to break this game open, and now the left defenseman Ate with his first goal of the season in his first game of the season. The defense has been the difference maker outside the goaltending, and now they're not even just doing it in their own end, they're doing it on the offensive as well, and Arctic in a really strong position to close this game out right here.
Brandon, I was wondering what Hockey Boy was talking about with Yuryu after the first goal timeout, but he was holding them back. He must have just been saying, hold on, let the D-men cook, as both of them now with a goal each, and he bashed him with a back around rob by Hockey Boy, and is he having a heck of a game here tonight? Yuryu brings that one over the line, gets it down low to Limbe, but a great job there by Purification to interrupt the offensive play. And so does Arctic here, and Arctic playing with the clock as well, so they don't mind taking their time, Brando. They get it over to Ate through the middle to Yuryu, and they're offside.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Arctic, drain that time. The clock is your best friend. You're up by 2. There's 2:06 to go. Your goalie has been lights out. Your defense has been taking away chances. And Purification, they have yet to been able to find a way to really break this thing open on the offensive end. So kill that time, drain it, and take your 2-0 lead on home to a win.
Here's Yoryu. Back out front is that one. Finally going to be brought up by Purification. They only have a minute to go, and they give that one away to Limbe. Not the guy you want to have the rock, as he sends it over to Yoryu, and he snipes that one home. And it's going to be 3-0.
And that's the second goal that's gone in on that glove side there for Nisei, and you kind of have to feel for him. He has been phenomenal in this game, and neither the results or the stats are really going to give him the credit he deserves. But how about that shot right there from the center in Giryu? And I think, once again, a little bit less than that first one. Looked like he was in decent position, but maybe left a little bit of space there on that high-end short side. Like you said, Lime, on the first one, maybe went butterfly a little bit and threw the animation off. Nisei, all of a sudden, lets 2 goals in on that short side, and Arctic should be able to cruise to a victory from this point forward.
Yoryu. That one's going to trickle through, and poor Nisei, Brandon, is in period 1 and 2, he was absolutely lights out, and period 3, it looks like Arctic's just found a way.
Yeah, they just found a way, and you know, the elite teams, they do that. This is an Arctic team that, like we've mentioned, they've been around the wild, they've won a lot of big games. Those teams find ways to get things going when it's a little bit tougher. That's the difference between a team that has been experienced and has played at this level and one that hasn't. We're seeing that show itself here in this game 1.
Great play here by Hockey Boy as well, Brandon, as I guess I'll bite my tongue for the next 20 seconds here, and if, oh boy. That one's going to be sent out here, and here goes Ate into the middle. Yoryu taking his time getting it into the offensive zone. Nice board play down to Limbe. Back to Yoryu. No way. As that would have been a play. Backhand shot on is robbed by Nisei. He makes his final save of the game. As here comes Lexon. Lexon rips one on. Hockey Boy holds on, and a big shutout for Arctic. And the 14th place Arctic come through and take down the first seed overall in Purification. And Brandon, you talked before the game saying how big of a staple game this would be for Arctic, and the confidence has to be flowing through that dressing room right now.
Yeah, and an experienced team that has made the playoffs just about every season they've been in this division, playing a new coming team that has a lot of fire, a lot of swagger to them, and is playing well. If you're Arctic, this is a statement to where you are officially saying, we have not gone anywhere. I know it was just a 2-2 record in the 4 games, but they did win those games in necessarily impressive fashion. This right here was a great victory for them when things were not easy, when Purification really made them work and struggle to get that first goal. And really, Lime, after they broke things open with that first goal, it was off to the races for Arctic. They never looked back. They got 2 more to pad it on, and a very, very well-deserved win for this team.
Nonetheless, as we're going to look at a few of these goals, all of them falling in period number 3. And definitely deserved by Arctic, is this first one from right defender Layout, as he just comes in, and there it is, Brandon. It is just because goaltender Nisei drops to his knees there, and Layout's able to find the bar down shot. Goal number 2, none other than Ete, who was able to come down in his first game of the season, take that one over, and just perfect shot placement, Brandon, right over top of the pad.
Yeah, I give Arctic a lot of credit because they took advantage of the numbers game. It was a 2-on-1. It was a beautiful play there between the defenseman stepping up and the forward that was there. And then their third goal, once again, just a beautifully placed shot, this time by Yoryu. And that one looked like that was more of a product of the animation. I can't really tell if Nisei went down to that butterfly animation. It didn't look as prevalent that time as it did on the first goal, if he did, but nevertheless, just got beat on that glove side yet again. That was 2 of the 3 goals. And if you're Purification, you know, you played well in those first 2 periods, but the offense never really did quite show up. Going to be really, really intrigued to see what adjustments they make in game number 2 on that offensive end.
Yeah, they need to. 9 shots is just simply not enough, especially when you're playing against an Arctic team coming through with 21. We have 1 game left this evening in sportsgamer GG, so we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to bring you guys back with our last banger of the evening. Hello, everybody. We are back, and the teams are just excited as we are. Brandon here at sportsgamer GG for the ECL Pro Spring Season Purification in Arctic. They want to get this baby right underway.
Oh, and I do too. After that last game that we saw, I don't blame them one bit. Let's not waste any time here getting this one going, but we aren't done this week, my friends. ECL Elite tomorrow with Tugi and Sin, H-Reds versus Hymo, Red Hawks Esports versus Yip Yavaskala. These are two matchups live that are going to be very intriguing, especially that one on the left. Two top teams right now in the Elite Division standings.
I got to see Hymo on Monday, which was a lot of fun to cast with Sin. It was a great back and forth battle, so I'm very excited to see them go against a strong H-Reds team. But it's Arctic Purification ECL Pro live from you right now. You will see your respective lineups in the bottom left and right hand corners of your screen. But Arctic in the dark colored jerseys now, Brandon, and Purification in the whites.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit. Maybe these two teams are a little bit too ready to get things started, and offsides just 18 seconds in. But you know something? This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be very interested to see how Purification responds on the offensive end. They struggled in that first game.
Lexon's trying to start things off early. As Fanny picks that puck up for Arctic, and he works it out. Fanny through the middle. You what a goal! Unbelievable snipe from behind the goal line, Brandon.
Yeah, how about Yuryu? We talked about him earlier. He has been one of the mainstays in this Arctic lineup over the years because he has that ability to not just set his teammates up, but to put the puck in the net as well. That's exactly what he does right there. I mean, he had that puck for maybe a millisecond before he ripped that right back on net. And how about the setup there from Fanny? Taking it up the ice, finds the open pass. It hit off of a Purification skater, but how about that man in Yuryu in the right position to pick that puck up, ripped it on that immediately, and put it in the net?
You know, we kind of had a feeling that Yuryu was going to show up this game, Brandon. He wasn't happy about not getting on the board last game. You know, it was the defenseman that ended up doing it for Arctic, so he's feeling good, making this a 1-0 game within the first minute of the hockey game, and putting Purification behind the 8 ball once again. Here's Vikman. Over to Basseman. Basseman taking his time. He can't get a pass through. And how about this defensive line here, Brandon, from Arctic?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Really making Hockey Boy's job a little bit easier back there. And it's why Purification has struggled to get things going offensively. Arctic has denied them of every opportunity.
Basseman with a shot that's blocked, and we're going to see a delayed penalty on the play and talk a little bit about that block after. As here's a shot from the point, goaltender out. As here's Nisei getting into the play. That one's shot on his block. Vikman with it at the point, looks across, and that one's picked off. But I think that would have been a goal there for Purification if that wasn't blocked, Brando.
Yeah, I agree. It was right on cue. We were just praising the defensive efforts of Arctic, and there they are once again making another great defensive play, blocking what I agree I think would have been the tying goal for Purification. But here's another chance for Purification to get a tying goal on the power play, but they're going to have to step up in that regard. Just 10% so far this season. That's 12th in Group 1, and the lowest of any Pro Division team that has scored a power play goal. They're going to have to step up right here.
Here's Vikman into the middle. What a pass! But that one blocked once again. And that one's over the line, and we see a tripping play.
Got a penalty. Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like on the clear out there, I want to say that was Update that was clearing that out, and he tried to dump it. He got tripped up immediately in doing so. As you see, just a bit of an undisciplined poke there from behind. You're on the power play. I know you want to be aggressive, but you're not in position to make that poke check, and it takes away what would have been a grand opportunity there for Purification.
Face off, gonna be one back. Basseman over to Lexon. Basseman back over onto the left-hand side. Here's Vikman. Back to Basseman. Little 4-on-4 hockey here, Brando. Lots of ice, but they end up going offside nonetheless.
Yeah, you know, and I can't help but to go back to that penalty. Purification, a team that has struggled to score here so far in this series. They finally get a chance here to show their power play to open things up, and they take a penalty that they really didn't have to take. Those are the type of plays that you just can't make as a team that is trying to establish yourselves in a higher division against a team that is established in a division like this. So hopefully for them, it doesn't come back to bite them, but going to be interesting to watch that.
Here's Yoryu. That one shot on is blocked, and Purification goes off to the races. Here's Lexon. Lexon has a poke checked off his stick, and Brandon, this defense from Arctic again and again and again is just phenomenal. Is that they? Touch pass ahead to Fanny. They got 10 seconds on the power play. It's not going to do anything for them as Vickman resets, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey, 6-on-6. Shout out to my man Nick. Is Lexon. That one poke checked off. Pops back out to the neutral zone. Baseman. Or Basseman, sorry. Back to Vickman. There's the Canadian coming out in me. And Limbe. He turns that one around. Gets it over to Fanny, who drops that back. A little bit of neutral zone hockey here, Brando.
Yeah, and it's kind of a change of pace from what we saw in that first game where there was a lot of offensive opportunity for both sides, but the goalies and defense stepped up. Right now, they're just locked in the middle of the ice, and it's kind of a contrast to what we saw earlier.
Puck out front. Here's Fanny. Fanny shot on. Basseman takes it away, and here goes Lexon. Here's the Bastion. Drops that back to Vickman. See the D pass. What a block there. Fanny get in front of that puck, and that just attests to the great defense from Arctic. They get in front of those lanes.
And that's about the third or fourth block shot that we've seen. Purification, they're earning some space, they're earning some chances, but Arctic is just denying it before it can even get to Hockey Boy. They're just always in that right place where the shot is going, and you got to wonder if you're Purification, that you maybe just try to get some shots on in closer to the net compared to trying to cycle it around and using those point shots to get an opportunity.
Here's Fanny coming in as he made a great block, but he ends up giving that puck away right onto the stick of Lexon. Basseman, touch pass back to Ebastian. Down low to Bystrom as he circles around the corner. Touch pass with Vickman on the left-hand side. It falls down low, and this defense of Arctic is just so good as Limbe now carries it out. Good job by Vickman taking a trade out of that. As he pulls that puck right off his stick, and Yoryu intercepts, and here goes Arctic. Fanny, poke checked off his stick. What a battle back and forth as we're seeing so many possession changes here, Brandon. As Bastion's going to give a shot here for Purification behind the net out front to Basseman. Over to Vickman. The shot on ends up on Bystrom's stick, but he's bumped away by Yoryu. And the Yoryu, right time, right place. As this one's going to go all the way down below the goal line. Vickman to Bystrom. That one's poke checked off. And again, Arctic not letting Purification in their zone here, Brandon.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the name of the game really for Arctic so far, not just in this game, but in this series. But here comes Purification now.
There's the pass back door, still loose in right time, right places layout now, Brandon. As we've seen lots of right time, right place tonight for the offense, but there's a great one for the defense.
We've seen a bit for the defense too. Those block shots have been a product of that.
That's very, very true. Getting in those lanes as we get, there's one in the middle ice by layout, Brandon. He's going to bring it over. Shot on, and not so lucky with the first shot he had in game one, Brandon, but a good one nonetheless. We will go to the intermission where Arctic leads off an early goal, 1-0.
Yeah, and I think that despite the score, both teams can leave this period relatively happy. If you're Arctic, things are going great. You're earning offensive opportunities. You're up 1-0 in the game. Your defense has been absolutely stellar, locking down Purification in the defensive zone. And if you're Purification, I think you do have to feel good because you're earning zone time. You have opportunity, and you've had chances in terms of getting shots on. It's just that every time you do get the puck off your stick, there seems to be a jersey in black that is there blocking it from the goaltender. So I think there is some solace to take away for Purification, but I also do think they left a little bit of meat on the bone. I can't help but to go back to that power play that lasts just 20 seconds. It felt like that was really their chance to break things open and turn the ties their way. And to take a penalty like that early where you were chasing and you had that poke check from behind the defender, just a little bit of a missed opportunity, but we'll see if they can bounce back. Arctic really, really tough to break right now. They're going to have to find a way to spread them out defensively.
Period 2 underway where Arctic leads 1-0. Arctic in the dark colored jerseys, and of course Purification in the lights. This game is Bystrom rips one on. That one goes off of a body. And it's going to be brought out here now by Yoryu. Limbe over the line, and they're offside. And Yoryu and Limbe haven't really been able to get anything together either.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. We kind of mentioned them being the long-time dynamic duo for this team. Both guys were top 20 in points in the Pro Division last year, over 60 points for both of them. But so far, that scoring touch hasn't really shown itself too much.
Here's Zete. Over to Limbe. Touched up and over to the right-hand side. Here's Fanny. Another shot on by Limbe. Kicked aside. And that one's popped out. Bastion works away. Purification. Over to Lexon. That one taken away by Yuryu, Brandon. And again, RCTIC's defensive zone is just lights out here. Bastion doing a great job in the neutral zone, moving that one ahead, but it's poke checked off by Layout. And once again, RCTIC does great. Here's Bastion. Into the middle of the Bystrom. Good job by Limbe. And here we go. 2-on-1. RCTIC. He's got Yuryu. Yuryu with Fanny. The pass across. It goes through the blue paint, Brandon, but nobody home. Now the other way. Here's Lexon looking for a pass out front, but look at RCTIC clog that middle, Brandon. It's just a sea of dark jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, it's like collapsing at its best. There are 4 or 5 bodies in front of that blue paint every time Purification gets even close to it.
That shot on is going to be held on by Nisei. And, you know, I'd like to think that Purification has had a little more success in this game, even though it hasn't been much.
I mean, I would tend to agree with you, and I feel like if you can keep this at a 1-goal game, if you keep pounding, you just kind of have to hope that you can break this thing open at some point. I think that in terms of their play, Purification's been a lot better. They just haven't been able to reap the reward of it yet.
There's Bystrom with a shot on, goes off of the body of Leo.
That was coconut.
That one in behind the net is going to be forced out by Leo. He took a hit to make a play to get that one over to Fanny. Here's Yuryu. Yuryu down low. Fanny, Yuryu, he's off the post. Yuryu with a shot from the same angle he scored on as that one was robbed this time. And it pops back over to Layout at the right-hand point for RCTIC. Down low to Fanny. Fanny out front is picked off by Purification, and we could have a chance the other way. Lexon, he's in behind, throws up front, but the defensive Layout to get back to help out, but it's backdoor, and it's in the back of the net by Lev winger Lexon finding the mesh ripple.
And that has got to be gutting. If you are RCTIC, you make a great defensive play, but the puck bounces right back once again. The Purification leaves it wide open for the left winger and Laxon. As you get another look at that replay, and give Purification a lot of credit, sticking with it despite that first play not going the way they wanted to. They get a third chance, they capitalize on it, and we just said it, Lime, you keep it at a 1-goal game, you never know what can happen in the offensive end. With the opportunity the Purification's gotten themselves, it ends up in a tie game, and we've got a brand new game here halfway through.
Brandon, my favorite statement you loved so much, like my old coach used to say, if we would have known, buddy, we could have started here. Is
I've been waiting on it.
Hey, I knew you were. I've been cooking it up. I've been cooking it up as Fanny. He comes over the line. That one's poke checked off, and Baseman runs through. Look at this. Baseman in behind, but a poke check by Limbe coming back to help out. That's right. You heard that right. The winger Limbe coming back to help out on that play as Layout threw one through. It trickled over into the right-hand corner, and Purification comes out now as the game starts to open up. Here's Bastion. Bastion pops that over to Baseman, who touch passes to Bystrom. The shot goes off of his own teammate in front of the net, and here's Limbe up to Yuryu. Drops that one back to Layout. RCTIC didn't like what they saw here, so they're just resetting, slowing things down here, Brendan.
Yeah, you know, give Purification a lot of credit, because I don't think it can be lost. They have played really, in terms of for the last 5 periods, they have played equally with one of the best teams in the Pro Division. That can't get lost here.
Big shot on is walkered away there by Limbe. Another hit is Vickman allowed out. Here's Yuryu. Yuryu, heights by Nisei.
Nice to see Nisei enter the conversation again. We haven't said his name a lot in the second period, but how big of a save was that? The biggest of the game right there. And he flashed the leather a little bit to add on.
You know, he was making that look cute.
Sit down.
Bystrom's going to take it with 7 seconds to go. Last chance here, possibly for Purification. They throw it across. It's loose up front, and a great save by Hockey Boy, and he just holds on.
Yeah, and 0.9 seconds left. Really not going to be much of a chance for Purification to get a shot on. But I got to say, Live, and I'd love your opinion on this. I think Purification, they won this period to be able to tie this game up. They dominated a lot of the play. RCTIC, really outside of that last big glove save from Nisei, weren't really able to get a lot of open opportunities. So I have to be honest, I think Purification won that period, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but they played equally in 4 of the last 5 periods for the Arctic team that has been one of the best teams in the Pro Division for the last 5 seasons. That cannot be lost here in this series. Despite losing the first game, despite the numbers not necessarily being flashy, they have kept with Arctic, and they have done so very, very well here so far in this series.
Yeah, you're right. Arctic, it was their period in period 1, Brando. Purification couldn't even get inside of their zone, and this one is a little bit of a broken play in front that allows them to score, but that's where they picked their momentum here up and just carried this one in, Brandon.
And you know, it's a broken play, but how about this? Laxon, he got behind 3 defenders in Arctic. The best way to be able to break that collapse is to somehow get behind them. He was able to do that right there, and that was what put him in the position to get the tap in. It's a broken play, but you got to take advantage and be in the right position to take advantage of that broken play, so they earned it nevertheless.
Puck over onto the right-hand side. Fanny, as we start period 3, your respective lineups in the bottom left and right-hand corner of your screen. Arctic in dark, Purification in light, and we're underway. Here's Yardiu. Looks out front, puck loose, and oh, Limbe was coming through with force. Limbe drops that one, bounce shot, and they score! Tipped in front, there it is! Second goal of the game for Yardiu.
And how about that? Arctic, they're scoring in a different way. They set up for that tip play, something that we see often in the Elite Division. We haven't seen it so far today, but you know what? It's a beautiful play to make when you're set up for it. And here's the replay of it right there. The cycle breaks up. They end up getting it back. Purification not able to get out of their own zone. And a beautiful shot on net there from Layout. And here you getting the tip. A little bit screened there from Nisei, his goalie not able to track that one to make the save, and Arctic, just like that, are right back where they started in the last period.
And that's when they're the best, isn't it, Brandon? When the puck is dropped, they are playing their best hockey. It's early in the game, or sorry, early in the period. There's Lexon now with a shot that goes way wide. This one's going to pop back over to the right-hand side. Here's the other back to Fanny. Fanny drops that back, and Arctic takes their time. They're playing the clock now, too, Brandon. It's not just Purification they need to worry about, and they'd be happy to scoop up a couple games against the first-place team.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be massive for them because, you know, you kind of look back at Arctic so far this season. They didn't get off to a great start. They lost both of their games to Lulea Hockey, one by a 3-0 score. The next game by a 1-6 score. So they played one of the top teams to begin the season, did not play well whatsoever. So to go out against a Purification team to possibly get all 4 points, that'd be massive.
Yordiu plays that across, and here's Vickman ahead to Bastion. Vickman carries that one through. 2-on-1 for Purification. Vickman, oh, he's robbed as the trip on the second chance effort is kicked aside by Hockey Boy.
Second chance effort worked for Arctic, but they did have to take the penalty as a result, and I don't think it's the worst penalty in the world to take. You're on a breakaway. I trust Hockey Boy if I'm Arctic, but at the same time, I understand you're trying to make a play. You don't want to be able to give Purification an open chance, but now you get Purification on the power play. Their last was just 20 seconds. Here's a chance for them to make up for it to tie this game up again.
This one's going to be tied up in one. Here's Baseman. Down low to Vickman. Vickman. Is this power play dangerous? Baseman in front of Bystrom. Back to Vickman. Look at the puck moving here. Back door, but there's Layout. He's all over that man. And he's going to carry it all the way down for the breakout. Throws it behind the net. That's a great kill by Arctic. And Layout on the backside. He's going to have to go back to work here. And does with a perfect poke check. And that one goes out of play. And Brandon, don't worry. I see that gorgeous face. But that did go off a offender's twig.
That was awfully close, however. But how about Layout on that defensive play? I think that might save the goal if he's not in position right there. Hockey Boy was not ready to get to that right side crease.
Vickman. Over to Baseman. Down low to Bastion. Here's Vickman. Baseman now with it in the offensive zone. Fired on. It's loose. What a save. As Hockey Boy playing lights out right now.
Purification, they may have not gotten the goal, but that was a well-constructed power play. Can they continue the momentum now on even strength?
Puck in behind the goal line. is going to be worked out by Arctic. They have just been so good here in period 3. Period 2, they kind of fell off of it here, Brando. But they've sure picked it up here in period 3 as Sebastian on the left-hand side. He's watched closely there by Limbe, but gets away from it. Puck back to Vikman, loose in front, and there's Ate. Getting that puck up to Limbe, who forces it ahead to Fanny. Fanny, back to Ate. Ate shoots! How did that get through it at eyes? And it was robbed by Nisse. Puck right back the other way. There's the stutter step. We're looking for the pass. Lexon decides to take the shot, and Arctic just sends that one down, Brando.
Yeah, and now if you're Arctic, you mentioned this earlier, but you are plenty content with letting this time drain as much as you can. You don't feel comfortable, but the time is your friend with less than 6 minutes remaining. Play the possession. Do not make any mistakes and give Purification an easy chance.
Here's Sebastian walking through up front, but layout, he's there again, Brandon. He's been so good. Big shout out to Gaming in the chat with the raid. Thank you guys so much. As you're tuning into Purification against Arches, is Sebastian over to Vikman. As I apologize for not saying your guys' full name. I just didn't want to butcher it, and I don't have my pronunciation guy. Is Fanny with a shot. There it is! Picked up by Yurdiu, and he gets a hat trick off a broken play in front, firing that right over the pad, Brando. And that kind of came out of nowhere, but it's in the back of the net regardless.
Aliens on the ice, and that was a shot out of this world, my friend. What a play by Yuryu. We kind of talked about a little earlier how him and Limbe not really with that scoring touch so far in this game, or in the series rather, but boy, as Yuryu opened it up. And how about this? Started out with a 2-on-1. They took advantage of the numbers. A little bit of a broken play as Fanny originally shot that. It was deflected by a defender. It went to the stick of Yuryu, and Nisei, even though he was in position, was in that butterfly yet again, and it compromised that glove side, gives Arctic a 2-goal lead, and they could very well have just put the icing on the cake.
What a toe drag by Yurdiu as he's starting to cook up here, Brandon, as he gets around the defender in the dying moments. This puck brought through his 3-1 game, and Purification needs a couple. Is that when DDD is blocked? Arctic, their wingers have been great in the defensive zone, and Limbe and Fanny, where we're so used to seeing them so successful in the offensive zone, they've taken it and attested it to the D zone tonight. Brought out by Purification, Basseman. Into the middle, but there's Fanny again making a 10 out of 10 defensive play. Limbe back through the middle. Good, cute little pass. Toe drag by Yuryu. Can't get around the defender. Picks it back up and does. Spins. Tries to tuck it. Short side is Yuryu. Brando, I'd hate to say he's putting on a little bit of a show for the show, but I think that's what that was, as Bystrom comes through now. Bystrom out front. Basseman back door, and oh! You're saying there's a chance. Bystrom with a gorgeous pass from his defender. Basseman makes it a 1-goal game.
There is a chance, and I'm calling the timeout on Purification. That is exactly what they do right there. 1-goal game, still some time. You have to win the face-off here, so a lot of pressure here on Bystrom, who just scored the goal. But nevertheless, they gave themselves a chance. You give yourself some life. And how about that picture-perfect pass over to Bystrom? Beautiful work there by Purification to open that one up. And here is the goal once again that Arctic scored. And, you know, I think that if you're going to say one thing about Nisei, as great as he has been, that butterfly has been a bit of a detriment to him so far in this game. 3 or 4 goals have gone in on him from being in that butterfly position.
Well, in the dying moments, Brando, Arctic needs to hold on. Limbe decides to take that one through. Interesting pass. They're going to have to be aggressive here in the neutral zone, but the Purification gets in. Ate with a great play. That's out to Limbe. They get it out to the neutral zone. Purification has to tag up. That should do it for the game. Funny, Yuryu! Oh, he can't. That's to flip it in. I would have went crazy. That's a game. Arctic from 14th place on the right-hand side of the board takes down Purification in both games in the series, sitting atop the leaderboard. This is a definite confidence win in this set here for Arctic.
And boy, it was not easy for Arctic, but they got the job done. As you see, this was the goal that tied or broke the tie up. A beautiful tip play there with Yuryu in front after the shot from layout at the point. And, you know, we don't see those plays often in the Pro Division, it feels like, but they're so effective. And with a team like Arctic that does love to bring a lot of traffic in front of the net, it can work a lot of times, and that's exactly what they did right there. It worked to their benefit then. They got that second goal that ended up giving them that extended lead from Fani over to Yuryu, and that right there, the goal on your screen, was the one that made the difference after Purification did make things interesting at the end and got that second goal, but it's RCTIC getting all 4 points, very well deserved as well.
Very well deserved, as Brighton fought hard for it. Was the defense that played the best game for RCTIC in game one, as well as Hockey Boy, and then it was the forwards that decided to show up here in game two, and same with Hockey Boy as well. As Eki coming in with a big raid. Thank you so much, Eki, dude. Appreciate you. Sports Gamer just watched RCTIC take 2 games away here from Purification. It's King Line, Brandon B. Major Bigsby here on the screen for you guys, and you're getting a review of some of the goals here, Brandon.
Yeah, and you see how Purification tied this thing up at 1 apiece there in that second period. A beautiful play there. It was a little bit broken, but the positioning was what made that play work so well from Laxand. And in the third period, you mentioned it, Lime, RCTIC, they start out hot. They start out that third period with that game-breaking goal, and then this right here, the one that really put the cherry on top.
You know, we thought we were going to see the dynamic duo early of Limbe and Yuryu, but it was the Yuryu show here in game two, collecting 3 goals from tough areas. As you see the last goal of the game, which we thought there may have been a chance on, Brando, as that one comes through backdoor with an easy tap-in goal. But RCTIC holding Purification to 15 shots in 2 games played. They deserve the win.
Yeah, and that is not easy. Purification, they're a team that came in averaging 3 goals per game. That was tied for 4th in Group 1, but it was top 10 in the Pro Division. So this is a Purification team that they've displayed some offense this season, man. They are no joke. So for RCTIC to come in, lock down, and really keep Purification at bay for 5 of the 6 periods that they played, very, very impressive for RCTIC. And, you know, if you're RCTIC, you got to remember, this is a team in their 6th season in the Pro Division. They've made the playoffs in 4 of the 5 seasons, ECL 12 being the one they didn't. And in each of those playoff appearances, they made it past the first round. They even made the semifinals in Winter 22. They've had 2 chances to make the Elite Division. This is a team that is one of the best in this division. If you're Purification, you cannot feel down yourselves. You're 7-3-0. You're still one of the top teams in your group. A lot of hockey to be played. Right. And you just went toe-to-toe with a team that genuinely is a championship contender in the Pro Division. A lot of good to take here from both of these 2 teams, but it's RCTIC that's going to be able to take the points to get themselves back on the right side of those standings.
Purification, they're still at the top there, Brandon. Nonetheless, let's take a look over at our latest results, as some of our games have been wrapped up, Brando. As we know, we saw the Brunis versus Hawaii hockey games, but what else stands out to you on the board?
You know, I have to say, I have to give Bastu some credit, because we talked about Biabro stealing that extra point in that first game in overtime. Well, Bastu comes back and they respond with a shutout. So 3 of 4 points for Bastu, a team that was just on the outside looking in of the playoffs this last season, coming in and getting 2 points, or 3 points rather, against Biabro. Very, very impressive. And how about Valco going against Lulea Hockey? Responded with a 4-0 shutout loss with a 7-6 OT victory. Really, really impressive for what we're seeing from a few of these teams that did make the playoffs this past season, trying to find their way now this season. Hey, Lime, we might have some fresh names here coming up this year. We see it every year. No different here through the first 2 weeks of action.
Absolutely not. As let's take over a look at the standings for Group 1 to see the changes, as stats not yet put in. But there's Purification up at number 1, RCTIC down at 14, and they are definitely going to jump up to at least 10.
Yeah, 8 points now for RCTIC, and they still have a few games in hand over Prestige and Exerso. So, you know, if you're RCTIC, I know they lost those opening 2 games to Lulea Hockey, but Lulea Hockey, they're number 2 on that board. They are a great team. It's a team that was in the Elite Division last year. They're trying to get themselves back up to that top flight, and then they just beat the team that's in number 1 in Purification. So you got to be feeling good. You have played some of the top teams in this division if you are RCTIC. And they also, by the way, played Bastu and won all of those games. So they've played 1, 2, and 3, and yet here they are at 4 and 2. Arctic in a very good position. Once again, one of the championship contenders here, not just out of Group 1, but in the entire Pro Division.
As we take a look over at Group 2, Brando, and we saw Hawaii Hockey, and there they are. Games are in. They are up at 12 points, and Brunis is sticking at 10, so those games in and updated. But Hawaii Hockey still with a couple games in hand and sitting pretty comfortable on that left side of the board.
Yeah, we talked about Hawaii Hockey a little bit earlier. Their 5th season in the Pro Division. They have yet to make the playoffs. They're trying to break that here. And you know what, Lime? This could very well be the season that they do. If they can play the way they did defensively in those 2 games we saw earlier, this is a team that could really be a sleeper this season. You know, Brunis in that 5th spot still at 5-5 and even 10 points. They really have put themselves in a solid position here early on. It might not be a comfortable playoff clinching here, but they've put themselves in the conversation. That's all that you can ask for. And there's still some teams on that right-hand side of the board that have some games in hand. So for Brunis to at least be able to get 2 out of 4 points, have to at least be somewhat pleased with the result here today for them.
Yeah, definitely. As both teams sitting on that left side of the board and wanting to be there. So splitting games between the 2 of them. Arctic winning both of theirs against Purification. If you guys want to see more amazing hockey just like this, you can join us tomorrow for some elite coverage, Brando, with some big hockey games.
Oh yeah, these are some biggies, my friends, so you will not want to miss it. H-Reds versus Hymo, that is currently number 2 and number 3 in the ECL Elite Division. And on that other side, Yip Yavasko and Red Hawks Esports, that is 2 other playoff teams right now. Number 5 for Yip Yavasko, number 8 for Red Hawks Esports. So if you want to see 4 of the best teams in Europe go off against one another, you will not want to miss this tomorrow, 1945 Central European Standard Time. Make sure you are here 2 games in on the call. Amazing as always. This is going to be must watch. I know I plan to watch it. You guys might want to join as well. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, all I got to say, I'm going to have my colon on Lockerty all teed up and ready to go for tomorrow's cast. That is for sure. This was an amazing set of games here where we watched Hawaii Hockey and Brynus split, and then Arctic taking a 2-0 series victory over Purification. Want to give a big shout out to Guido behind the scenes for his amazing production, and of course, sportsgamer GG for having myself and the amazing Brandon here to cast some ECL Pro Hockey on Tuesdays. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow as well for the elite coverage that Brandon just talked about. For myself, it's King Lime and Brandon B. Major Bigsby. We hope to see you guys very soon.